Hi, friends. I'm Lauren.
And I'm Katie, and welcome to Okay, But Did You Know? A podcast where we talk about the TV and media that we love with a friend who's never seen it before.
Today we're recapping and chatting about Once Upon a Time, episode 302, Lost Girl. This episode aired on October 6th, 2013. It was written by Andrew Chambliss and Kalinda Vasquez and was directed by Ron Underwood. And this is one of 4 episodes this season that was accompanied by audio commentary. I don't know why it's only 4 and not 5, because usually it's like 1 episode per DVD, and there's usually 5. But this time it was just basically 2 per arc, I guess. And this time it was provided by our writers, Andrew and Kalinda. So before we get into our recapping and chatting, let's go over a synopsis for Lost Girl. In the Enchanted Forest, Snow White has been awakened by her prince, and now they plan to fight Regina and King George and take back their kingdoms. Regina is distraught that her sleeping curse didn't work and offers Snow an ultimatum. Snow can turn over the kingdom to Regina and live out her days in exile, or every day that she defies her, Regina will kill one of the subjects still loyal to her. Snow is ready to give up to save her people, but David believes in her and devises a plan to get her to release Excalibur from its stone, or so she thinks. When Snow confronts Regina and wins, she believes it is because of the power of the fake blade, but it was because she had the power inside her all along. And in Neverland, now in the thick of their journey to find Henry, Pan pays Emma a visit and gives her a map that will reveal the location of his camp once she stops denying who she really is. After a few failed attempts to activate the map, Regina uses a locator spell on it to find Pan, but he'd planned for this, and he and the Lost Boys ambush the group. After the fight, Snow confronts Emma about why she stopped fighting one of the Lost Boys, and Emma admits it's because she saw something of herself in him. The look of being an orphan. The map activates, and now they can form a plan to find Pan's camp and get to Henry.
I shouldn't find the look of being an orphan that funny, but I do. I didn't know you could look like an orphan.
He looked. I didn't write down what the phrasing was.
I didn't either. I don't think.
It was like a hopelessness or something.
Yeah, like a look of hopelessness. Like, what the fuck, Emma? What? Okay.
She had a very poignant way of putting it.
She did. We don't.
No.
But yeah, this was a interesting episode, as they tend to be.
Yeah, that's going to be the theme with Neverland. Is it was interesting.
I feel like starting Neverland episodes, I'm just kind of like, okay, we're gonna do this. I may not enjoy it, but at least I get to talk about it instead of like, because there's times you watch like weird media and you want to be able to talk about it, and you may like post on the social media or something, and you may get like a comment or two, and that's it. You may never actually get to like talk about this weird thing that you saw. But with this, I get to watch the weird thing and then talk to you, and then many, many people listen to it. So it's kind of, it makes it more enjoyable.
It's the beauty of our podcast is like even when something is like not the most enjoyable, like when it's not something you don't particularly care for, like, because that's going to happen. Like we say all the time, like this
happened many times with Bob's.
Yeah, like with 156 episodes, 57 episodes, depending on your numbering conventions, like it's going to happen. They're not all going to be winners. And this one, it adds a lot of really important character stuff, and like Pan is a character, unfortunately, because we only see him, he's only in these 11 episodes. He comes back in other flashbacks and stuff later in the show, but he's only in the show for these 11 episodes. They really do take their time though of you learning him piece by piece.
Yeah, it's very slow paced, which I find interesting with it being the 2 story arcs that you said that they're doing now in season 3. It was interesting starting off with Gold cutting his own shadow off. I was like, yeah, cutting off your shadow, not weird at all.
No,
like, we're doing this.
This is what I mean when I say piece by piece, because this one has audio commentary, and like I always I'll try and weave in some things and leave some fun stuff for the end. But the writers did say that like they wanted to expand on the Neverland lore that we already know and love, and or, depending on who you are, and just to expand on that. Like the shadow, because up until this point, all we knew about the sentient shadows was that Pan had one, but this is, you can separate yourself without it killing you, and who better to show that through than the Dark One?
I have to agree with that. That is like the best person to kind of show it through, because who else is going to do it?
This is true. Who else is going to be that desperate is my question.
Regina?
She could be. She's gonna have her own kind of masochistic moment Next week?
Why am I ready to be like, I'm here for that? Okay, let's go.
Oh, trust me, I'll have a rant about it. I'll not necessarily a rant, but I will have feelings about it because it involves a certain character that I'm very excited about.
Okay, I'm excited now more, but I have to wait. Um,
You do.
I have so many emotions when it comes to like everything with Snow and Emma, and I wrote down that it's hard to call the person who abandoned you mom, which of course
Yeah.
then played into the whole thing with the orphan stuff and all that. And I feel like it's taken Snow like way too long to accept how Emma feels about her.
Mm-hmm.
Because yeah, they have their connection. It's like the friendship that they had and everything else, but like Snow has really got to do a little bit better about that. It's been kind of annoying me. It's like, and that, but then Emma's the same way about Henry, and it just bugs me so much, so
Yeah.
much.
Well, because I think I say this a lot about, especially about Snow and Charming, is Snow wanted a baby. David
Mm-hmm.
wanted a family. And there's a big difference there. And to be fair, like, it's very, I mean, at this point, I figured it was about 6 months or so since the beginning of season 2. So, like, it's been 6 months of time that she's had to get used to this idea that Emma's not going to see her as mom right away. But when she woke up, that's what she expected to be, was mom.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard to go through that. And Emma kind of forcing, the difference with Emma, though, is Emma's not forcing Henry to call her mom, or not
No.
like saying, hey, you want to call me mom if you want to. Like, she's still like, I think she still kind of gets jarred a little bit when he calls her mom until things will change soon. But it's
Yeah.
a little different. But Emma's like, she's forcing her role as a mom on everyone else. I
Yeah.
feel like, not on Henry.
No, yeah, that's more so I think what I meant is just like how she is about Henry, because
Mm-hmm.
and I know Regina hasn't really spoken up all that much, but even like she had a line in this one, she's like, "That's my son, I'm his mom," and it's like that reminder. I'm like, do we still need to keep reminding people Regina is still Henry's mother? Like it gets to me a little bit because it's the same with Snow. I know that it was for the storyline that had to happen, abandoning Emma the
Mm-hmm.
way that they did, but the
Yep.
fact is they did, and that's
Yeah.
created what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Um, oh my god, I loved the fucking mirror. If you drop
The
me, I'll
running.
make sure you have 14 years of bad luck. I loved that moment.
That was phenomenal. And like, but my thing with that was like, we know he's not he's not stuck in that one mirror. Like we've
Yeah.
seen in past episodes, he can move around to different mirrors whenever it matters. I think that was more the guard just not realizing, which is why he's running with the giant mirror. Like if he'd taken a hand mirror, it would have been fine.
Yeah, he would have been
But it
perfectly
just
fine.
makes it even better. But the writers were like, they just wanted an excuse to bring Giancarlo back because I think at this point, this is 2013.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Revolution had started yet.
He's been in so much.
Let me check that because I thought Revolution was the pilot that he left Once Upon a Time for, but I don't remember anymore. It's been a while since we've had to Yahoogle mid episode for
Because
once at least.
he's in Breaking Bad, but I think that was a while too.
And that was I think that ended right before. Luckily,
Yeah.
his name is very unique. Googling him is very easy. He does a lot. The issue is he does a lot. Yeah,
Yeah.
Breaking Bad ended in 2011, so that was before Once Upon a
Okay.
Time ever started. Okay, yeah. So I don't know if this was the pilot that he left once for, but actually, hang on. Okay, no, sorry, I was right. Revolution is the pilot that he left Once Upon a Time
Okay.
for. Like that was like why they had to basically have him be convicted of kidnapping Catherine and just stuck underground where we don't see him anymore. But it was like the writers, because my guess is like since it was just him on a green screen, he could probably film that from wherever he was filming
Yeah.
Revolution. Would be my guess. But they were very excited to have any excuse to bring him back.
Oh, I bet. Like, I love that moment too. That when Hook and Emma are talking about his iteration, I guess, in media, and I just wrote, "Yes, perms are bad." Because like Hook has no idea what she's talking about. Like, wait, what's a perm?
No.
Like that was a perfect moment.
In these stories, what was I like? Other than a villain. Handsome, I gather. If wax mustaches and perms are your thing, I take it by your tone, perms are bad.
Perms are bad.
He just has no idea, and I've definitely played with that in fan fiction before, of making him watch various versions, and my Killian is never happy with what they do to him.
I do the same thing in my story. If anybody is, I mean, at this point when this episode comes out, it'd have already been out. But no, it
Yeah,
won't.
this
It
comes
comes
out
out next year. Never mind. This one, I'm thinking of the spring story.
Oh, okay, yeah, so the
I
story
have,
will be out. That's March.
yeah, I have the goddess Freya watch Thor Ragnarok. Not Ragnarok. Was it Thor Ragnarok? One of the Thor movies.
One of them.
One of them. But yeah, it's always fun to do that.
It's fun to make your characters that are based off of other things see the thing that they're based on. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Right? It's a very interesting part. I like that part. Um, Emma trusting Pan. Like I don't like Pan. We've established this. We already know. I'm
Mm-hmm.
already kind of like this dude's a little weird. But like
Yeah.
her full on like, okay, I'm gonna listen, I'm gonna trust him. Like I don't trust him.
It's misguided, nor should you. It's misguided, but to be fair, Pan likes to play games. That's the piece of him that we learned this
Well,
episode
he's
is
a
that Pan
child.
likes to play. He's a child. He likes to play games. He likes to literally toy with everyone around him. He wasn't lying that once she stopped denying who she was, the map would show him or show them
Mm-hmm.
where Henry is. It's just not going to work the way they think it does.
That's fair. I really also did love Charming and Hook this entire episode. I even wrote down, sadly, I agree with the pirate. I'm winning you over. I can feel it.
This is what I say all the time about Captain Charming, because that's what their ship name is called.
Oh, I love
Um,
that there's a ship for them.
both platonic and not platonic. You can take it however you want. Um,
I'm okay. We can keep going. Nope, we're good.
it's fine. It's fine. But Captain Charming on screen 100% of the time is just the chemistry and the bromance that is Colin and Josh that the writers just put into the show.
It's hilarious. It's
It's
wonderful.
amazing. Because it's like when I'll eventually I'll send you some more clips of like that's just of like the two of them like in bloopers or whatever. Like it's the two of them have a beautiful friendship that's like really just it's a lot of fun to watch them interact, and them especially them in the bloopers is hilarious. Because there's one where once Emma, because this is not a spoiler, you know this is happening. Once Emma and Killian get together, there's a scene where David takes Emma away for something, and so Emma has to like kiss Killian on the cheek goodbye. And Josh just leans in and also gives him a peck, and then the camera they're still rolling, so Colin just turns the camera and goes, "Oh, he's so dreamy."
Oh my god. I love them. Oh my goodness. I
So great.
definitely also had the lovely moment of going, what the fuck is going on when Belle showed up?
They
Because I
needed a reason
guess
to give her episodes because she's main cast.
I'm like, is Rumple hallucinating? What is going on? So that was
Kind of.
interesting.
He's kind of hallucinating.
Kind of. It's
So,
it's
yeah.
great. Rumple's story is still hard to figure out right now because I'm like, he wants to save Henry, but then he's just doing his own thing. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah, because right now, he's still leaning into the prophecy of the boil me my undoing, so he knows that saving Henry is going to probably be his end, most likely. Yeah. Unfortunately, much like Captain Hook, he's also a cockroach. He doesn't die too easily.
I didn't think the Dark One would.
Yeah, well, the Dark One is also an entity. Like, let's be real. Even if he were to die, the darkness doesn't just dissipate. Like Korra's thing of like him dying without the dagger and all that power will boil off into the air. We'll see how the world building of that works. It's not that simple. But it is actually very interesting world building the way they put it into the season 4
I can't
finale.
wait for your rants on world building when the time comes.
That's a season 5 thing.
I know they're coming. I know, but I know they're coming. Because I know
world building of the Dark One in season 5. But where's I going with this?
Somewhere. I don't know.
I had a point. Where did it go? Ah!
I'm so sorry.
Oh god, what was I talking about? Oh, the dark him not dying.
Yeah. Whatever the hell he's doing right now.
Whatever. Exactly. So he's the prophecy. The boy will be my undoing. That's where I was going.
We found it.
We found the point. 5 minutes later. The thing with that is now that Bay he thinks is dead. He basically it's to him this is more or less a suicide mission. But he also feels like, he more or less feels like he can only like save Henry, like because he knows that this will be his end. I think I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. The writers didn't confirm this. This is my interpretation of everything. Mm-hmm. That him separating himself from everybody else is allowing him to do what needs to be done to save Henry, which will be his end. Whereas everyone else will hold him back, which will either save him and they lose Henry, or they save Henry and he's still afraid Henry's going to be his death.
Gotcha.
Because they won't let him do something that will kill him eventually. So I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt that he's doing this, isolating himself like this, because like a lot of this episode is in his parts that we see is him admitting that he's not wired to do any, like he generally makes the selfish decision. He says that I generally make the wrong decision. I generally make the dark decision. He says he wants to do better, but honestly, with everything I know about him, I don't believe him.
Yeah, no, Rumple's hard to believe. because he just does that. He changes his mind so quickly sometimes. Like he'll be like, "No, I'm going to do X, Y, Z," and next thing you know, he's like, "Nope, I'm doing F." Like, what are you doing?
Uh-huh.
Because that's Rumple.
That's Rumple.
I loved Regina's line of, "I can feel his smugness."
Regina had a lot of good singers in this one.
She continues to, and I hope this is like a trend for
Oh,
season 3 because it's wonderful.
absolutely.
It's the best part of watching any of these.
Like we said last week, that a lot of this is kind of turning almost into like step siblings, like trying to like, work out their differences so they'll be okay with each other like in a little while. That's what this is.
That yeah. Okay. I have a couple of things. So
Okay.
I think, and of course I need to see how powerful Pan is since everyone's so fucking scared of a child. And I know I will, but it bugs me.
Mm-hmm.
But them mentioning Rufio.
Yeah. That was clearly that was confirmed by the writers. That was a reference to Rufio from the movie Hook. They did that on purpose.
Which kills me because of people in our generation, for sure. And
Yeah.
like people a little bit older than us. We love Rufio. Rufio was like the best part of the Hook movie.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a Robin Williams movie, so that says a
Yeah.
lot. If Rufio is like the best part of the movie, I was so mad. I was like, "You killed Rufio, motherfuckers!
Yeah.
You had an opportunity here."
Well, to be fair, they killed him in Hook too.
I know. I'm trying not to think about it.
But here's the thing: is like, who would be Rufio if not Dante Bosco? And that doesn't work. You can't have Dante Bosco be. You can't have Dante Bosco be Rufio in 2013. I love him, but he's a little too old.
He would have tried.
He would have tried
with all gusto. He would have tried.
I would have been okay if they'd done like a cameo, or if they had like a kid playing the body of Rufio, but then Dante Bosco is dubbing all of the lines.
Oh yes, please! Oh my god! Like I love following everything he does now on social media too. He's so freaking funny. He's so much fun. Yeah. He's one of those that'll actually like talk about his checks that he still gets. After all these years.
Yeah, the residuals.
Because they don't seem to exist as much as they used to. Because how things have changed.
Yeah, with the way streaming works, residuals aren't really a thing anymore.
Yeah. So it's so funny when we see like, oh, I worked on this 30 years ago. Look how much I'm making. It's so fun. Yeah. I find it funny.
Yeah, but the Rufio line is one of the things from the commentary that I find it was really well timed, because the commentary was one of the ones that like they kind of talk almost the entire time. I think I heard maybe in total a minute of actual dialogue from the show.
That's your kind of commentary, though.
I love, because I get so much good stuff out of this, and this one was so much about the writing process and like how their writer's room works. But Andrew is the one that wrote the Rufio line, and he went, "Wait, hang on, Rufio line." You hear Killian say it. He's like, "I love writing that." Like he paused long enough so you could hear Colin deliver the line.
See, everyone loves Rufio.
Mm-hmm.
So Merlin.
Yeah.
I heard Merlin. I got a little excited, and they were like Excalibur, and I was like, "Wait, where are we going with this?"
A benevolent mage, which apparently they couldn't figure out what kind of magical item they wanted for this. Like they just kept calling it the magical item. For a while, they were calling it Dumbo's feather because they knew it was going to be a placebo effect kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's from Dumbo. For those who do not know, he gets a feather that someone tells him is magical and will let him fly. But it turns out he didn't need the feather to fly all along. He had the power inside him.
He already had the large ears.
He already had the largers. He was fine. But that when someone just landed, like they had brainstormed with the entire team of writers on what this item could be. They landed on Excalibur, and the joke was so that Kalinda could put in the term benevolent mage, because she just really likes mage and magic user lore from. They were basically saying she plays D&D without saying she plays D&D. I was about to
say, this sounds like my brain. Before you even said that, I was like, so that's her D&D character. That's exactly where my brain was already going.
That's what I gathered. They said that without saying it. She just really, and apparently one of the other writers had no idea what a mage was, which shows that he doesn't play D&D.
No, that's her D&D character. Probably still plays that to this day.
Kalinda Vasquez, if you listen to our podcast, hi, do you play D&D as a mage?
Please comment now. We have comments on this thing now, all right?
I believe. Well, here's the thing with the Spotify comments. We're recording this in July. You guys will hear this in October. Comments have been rolled out, but I still don't see them on my app.
I wonder.
Like I see them on like the Spotify for Podcasters app, so like it uploaded like the old comments from the Q&A, but I have no idea where you add comments. I don't have that, and I update my app pretty frequently.
All right, I'm just going into And I'm not even on our podcast either. I'm just on another random podcast.
Yeah, supposedly it's on like an episode, like whatever the episode page is for a podcast, or if you scroll down, like once you're playing it, if you scroll down past like the transcript, it should be there also. I've yet to see it.
Really? Okay, we're just gonna play. I'm playing a random episode of Drew Aflo. Oh God, how do you say her name? Afualo. She's the one that laughs at men. I love her. Let me
Gotcha.
see. I'm gonna pause it. Go to the page. Oh, advertisement. Okay, fine. It's being mean to me. I'll check in a second.
Okay.
But because I need to know, like I need to know, but I don't know why I'm getting an advertisement. Okay, pause. Recent ads, chapters about this episode. I don't see anywhere I can comment.
No,
Not a
so
one.
comments haven't at this moment. Like they claim comments have been rolled out, but all they've really done is removed Q&A, so you can do nothing.
Yeah, there is nowhere to comment on that.
I don't know.
So I don't know what they're talking about. Maybe by October they'll be there.
Hopefully, by the time this is out, hopefully comments will be available.
Yeah, like we want people to be able to tell us what they think in a very nice way because we are people.
This is true. We are real people with feelings, and this is why we say all the time, if you would disagree with our opinions, that's okay. Opinions are subjective, media is subjective, and we say all the time, if Rumple is your favorite character, this podcast may not be for you.
That's why you just go listen to the Bobs.
Unless you're open to hearing criticism. Because like me, I'll admit, I get defensive when people critique Regina, but also I critique her harder than anybody else because I love her, but she does not make smart decisions.
No. So, Regina just using the Force all the time, but when she goes to do it with Grumpy, I couldn't with the noises he was making.
He was really going ham with that.
I was like, Grumpy, what are you doing? What are you doing? Leroy, no. No, Leroy.
Especially knowing how they film that, because basically, like, the choking noises is up to the actor's discretion. Obviously, they're not actually doing anything to them. Like, especially on the faraway shots, my guess is he had a harness and he was attached to a crane, is my guess. But, like, there are times when you'll see someone, like, being force choked and, like, you don't see, like, their feet. What ends up happening is it's usually the actor just standing on, like, an apple crate. And, like, they do, like, 1 foot off, and then as they're being lifted, they just step up onto the crate while it's happening. I've never actually seen that from the wide shot, but according to the actors, it's hilarious.
It sounds hilarious. I'm going to stand on an apple crate and pretend I'm choking because someone's using the Force on me. Because that's what that was. I'm sorry. I can't. It's the Force.
The best one is going to be Ginny has a couple of moments like that in season 4. It's not Force choking, but it is. She's being choked with an object that is not visible because it is CGI.
Oh, kind of like the rope around Charming.
Yeah, kind of like that.
I did enjoy that she got the queen with the fake Excalibur, which I was like, why? Like, I get the whole placebo thing, but I was like, of course the sword is fake. Should have picked up on that sooner.
Everyone knows it's in Camelot.
And then I loved the lines. The sober one loved this. Is rum your solution to everything? Well, it certainly doesn't hurt.
He's not wrong.
That. He's not wrong.
Why is the rum gone?
I mean, I love that they get the pirate stuff right. I love that they do really well with it. Sometimes you see things that pirates are not done very well. I still love Pirates of the Caribbean to this day. I don't care what people say. Those are some amazing movies. But no, like, I love Hook. And I'm so glad I found a character to latch on to. But my last thing that I wrote down, I said, Charming, why are you an idiot? Tell them. And this is also coming from a place of, I've been rewatching The Walking Dead with my husband. And he got hit and with the poison, and it's the same. My mind goes to zombies. If you get bit, fucking say something.
Yeah.
Who's gonna help you if you don't say anything?
He's gonna tell somebody.
I wonder who.
Is it next week? No, it's episode 5.
Why are men like this?
Men are the worst.
Men are the worst.
But yeah. Men are the worst, but Dreamshade, he can't handle his children with pointy sticks. It's unfortunate. And he thinks, that he thinks he can solve it on his own, and it's going to be a point of contention. This is the secrets that we keep and how it, tears us apart and everything. And something that the writers said about this season is Neverland is a little bit like Therapy Island.
I don't need that. No.
But honestly, it works really well because Emma needed to have that moment of telling, Mary Margaret how she feels. David's going to have to be honest about the dream shade and about what happens with that. Snow is going to have something that's weighing on her that's going to, be painful for everyone else to hear. And it's it's a big thing. But this season is like really, I mean, it is this part of the season is the therapy that these characters need. Is it gives them the space to confront their inner turmoil issues while they're still focusing on the very
Yeah.
external thing of saving Henry.
I'm gonna need to make that into a sticker, and it's just gonna be an island, and it's gonna be
Therapy
called
Island
Therapy Island, and there's gonna be a pirate ship nearby. I have to make that now. I need a Therapy Island thing
sticker. That is a
sticker.
good idea. The writers called it Therapy Island in the commentary, and before I ever watched the commentary, I wrote down in our script, self-discovery, and everyone in this episode needs way too much therapy.
So yeah, it was later tonight. You will probably, or tomorrow, you get a lovely message of a link, and it'll be a Therapy Island sticker. If anybody wants them, yes, we will sell them. Like at that point, no, I will sell you this sticker. I don't care.
Yes. We will figure out how to get stickers onto our Patreon shop somehow.
I know how.
There you go. We know how. So there we go. So we have the Why Are There Eggs sticker, we have a Yahoogle sticker, we have a Therapy Island sticker.
That's it. We're selling stickers apparently. And I know how to get them printed. And I know how to get them
There you go.
made.
I want all of this. To be fair, I can already have all the stickers. I already have one of them. It hasn't been made into. I haven't actually taken the backing off of the Why Are There Egg sticker because I don't know where to put it. But
that's fair. But no, I think it's time for me to start looking into how much it costs to print some of these stickers because they're just really funny.
Therapy Island is the best sticker in my opinion.
I mean, I'll even make it. Look, maybe I'll get a hoodie made one day. Therapy Island. There you go. Yes. You want to come to my island? It's like Animal Crossing, but more fun.
Can that be the name of our fan base, Therapy Island?
Oh my god, yes.
You know what? At this point, the podcast, when this comes out, the podcast will be out for almost a year. I think it's fair. We name the fan base Therapy Island.
We're all on Therapy Island together, and which is so funny because like this is these are our comfort shows. We already talk enough about like all the things we've dealt with and why we turn to comfort media, but it's just so much funnier when you watch Bob's because Bob's is also just like a form of therapy.
Yeah.
Because as you've seen, so many of these episodes are like, oh, this is really healing. Oh my god.
Mm-hmm.
So you're welcome. Y'all are all therapy residents, I guess.
Yes.
Oh man.
So some fun facts that weren't from the commentary before we keep going with our Therapy Island friends. So this is the very first episode to not feature the Land Without Magic at all. Because like last week, which is weird, because last week, like technically it was the first time without Storybrooke, but we had the very brief flashback of Emma giving birth. Mm-hmm. So this time there is no Land Without Magic whatsoever. It is just Neverland and the Enchanted Forest. In the background of the scene where Snow and Charming are with the dwarves, like when like they're talking about whether Snow is going to take up Regina's ultimatum or whatever, there's a deer that wanders in the back.
I saw that.
It was initially unplanned. It worked. They kept rolling, but the deer just kind of wandered on set from the forest nearby. And it wasn't afraid of anything. It just wandered through set, and they left it in.
It was kind of cool, because it kind of added to the fantasy element.
Yeah.
Like, Snow's talking, there's a deer. Makes sense. I can't do that. I don't know how you do that.
Classically trained soprano. So much of this... And this is the one thing I give the props a lot to the production team for the show, because so much of this show, like a lot of it is filmed outside, especially this season with Neverland. But Neverland and the Enchanted Forest, it's the same when they do shoot outside. It's the same forest, like it's the same. It's just the difference is they add more tropical plants and then they change the lighting to make it more kind of ethereal when they film it at night. But like a lot of the exterior shots for Neverland and the Enchanted Forest are the same locations, and you really would never know. But it's then that scene,
tropical plants added. It's
a lot. But then that scene at the end with Emma and Pan when he says, "When I'm done, you won't just feel like an orphan; you'll be one." That's a soundstage. They built that physical set with like the forestry and the jungle, but it also has but they did add the fresh berries for her to pick off the bush. Like they do such a good job, I would say, of like when they build the practical sets versus redressing things, making things look so cohesive and really grounding it, because like that's important to this. It's like you have to feel like you're on another planet.
Yeah, because you're in a whole other realm.
Exactly. And what makes it even funnier is for those that have also seen The 100, which I know you have, this is the same forest they use for The 100.
Which is so interesting.
Because it all comes down to the redressing of things, and this is the joke when I started watching it, was I was realizing, these are the same filming locations. They use them, they also use the exact same angles, because that's probably all they can, probably for the way that the cameras can go. But like that's the thing, is like when it's the same, you can tell it's the same.
It's pretty obvious, yeah.
But like when like but then they do such a good job of making these very different locations look the same also, or these very same locations look very different. It's very, I give props to the production team because I think they did a phenomenal job with Neverland.
Amazing job.
In my opinion.
I thought they were in a different location or only on soundstage the whole time. I didn't realize they're actually like in that same forest.
A lot of Neverland is outside. Like the fight scene with the Lost Boys, that's outside. I think the campsite scene, that one might be outside. I don't remember. But it's like, it's a good, this thing is, it's a good mixture. You never really know the difference. So I meant to grab this off my shelf, and I am entrapped where I am. I cannot get up without messing everything up to go grab it. But Regina's first Evil Queen outfit, not the first Evil Queen outfit from her picking the apples, but the first scene with her and Snow, the outfit with like the big collar and the fireball and everything. So that was they made a Funko Pop of that specific outfit as part of the second round of Once Upon a Time Funkos, which I do have. I'll put a picture on the Instagram stories when this episode goes out. It's over there. I can't get it because I'm kind of trapped where I'm sitting right now. But I do have it. I have every Once Upon a Time Funko except for Rumpelstiltskin because he was creepy.
No, I understand that. I have I have the Bob's Burgers movie run, most of them, not all of them, most of them. I don't have the original Bob's Burger set because they're very, very expensive.
Yeah. Like I'm realizing $100. It's a good thing I moved him because there's two Killians, the regular one, and then there's another one that's over here. It's behind the dragon, which is a Lego, not a Funko. But I realize it's a good thing now that I do have it hidden because if you look too closely at it, it does in fact have a spoiler for season 5.
Oh, interesting.
Because it's a very specific, the outfit, it's very specific. So I will show you that when we get there.
I'll see you in a couple years.
Yeah, in a while. My last fun fact that wasn't commentary based, the leather dress, that was Lana's leather dress at the very end. That one is one of Lana's self-proclaimed one of her favorites. And that is why I had her getting like the photo of her getting out of the carriage with that outfit. That's the photo of her that I have signed. I
love it.
It's a good outfit.
It is a good outfit. I haven't liked maybe a handful of her outfits. They felt odd to me, but the costume department does do an amazing job.
Yeah. Yeah, because you didn't like the one from the blue one from Queen of Hearts, if I remember correctly.
No, it felt out of place.
That one felt very rocker Regina, but it didn't have a lot of leather. Because that one was like very David Bowie. No, was that one David Bowie or Gwen Stefani themed? I don't remember. They take a lot of inspiration.
It just felt out of place for me.
They take a lot of inspiration from like rock stars for especially for the Evil Queen looks. But something I'll try and weave in everything together because a lot of my notes tie into stuff that I've brought in from the commentary, and we're already a half hour into this. If I do my notes and the commentary separately, we're going to be here for days.
That's true.
So the commentary was by Andrew Chambliss and Glinda Vasquez. They're the writers in this episode. This was their first time writing together because usually they explained really how like the writing process works for their writer's room, and I was like, we've been wanting to know this since we started this podcast.
How does it work?
Which is proof that I've never listened to this commentary because I feel like this would have felt familiar, but I just never. I think after season 2, once it stopped being episodes that like I necessarily like wanted to hear commentary about, like without a reason to, I don't think I've actually ever listened to any of the commentary from season 3 because none of them are like my favorite episodes. But basically, they said that the way that their process broke down, and they said this was one of 3 episodes the two of them write together. Basically, the story beats for the episode gets broken down with like the whole writing team, and then Eddie and Adam will send off the writing pairs to write their outlines. So once the outline for the episode is set up and okayed by Eddie and Adam, then Andrew and Kalinda they start working on the script. And they say the way that they did it was they basically broke the script in half, and one of them worked on the front half and one worked on the back half. And they work separately for about 4 days, and then they come together to do all the rewriting and to make sure everything is cohesive, and they copy and paste things and move things around where things are going to make more sense. And then they comb through with a fine-tooth comb to make sure that everything is flowing and that it has, I would say, one more cohesive voice rather than like feeling like one person wrote one half, one person wrote the other. And I think that's a really cool way of doing it when you're working with somebody is like, can work on your own bit while knowing what the other person what you have to set up or what you have to, use as payoff. But ultimately they could kind of just like come together and like just sit in front of their computer screens and move things around and figure out what's working and what isn't. I think that's a really cool way of doing things in my opinion.
It really is. But now we know.
now we know that's how their writing process works, because like that's every writing team is going to be different. Everyone writes things differently, because like I mean, I know I've read books that are written by two authors that like you
Mm-hmm.
can tell sometimes who wrote like which chapters. I feel like
The one book, well, it's a couple books that I've read that are by two people. I think they do a very, very good job of making it cohesive because that's the Ebony
yeah.
Gate series, Ebony
Hmm.
Gate and Bloodjade. Like those books are you can't like they flow so well. You can't tell it's
Hmm.
written by two people, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, the last one that I read that was written by two was Second Nightstand by Corellia and Faye Sets Waters, and that was one where I was expecting it to kind of be like a back and forth, like because like I would say with some of the more with the indie romance that I've read that's written by
Mm-hmm.
writing pairs, that's the thing you can tell, like, oh, you guys kind of like RP styled this, like you basically just kind of
Yeah.
went back and forth and wrote the chapters, but like and like honestly, I can't tell you if for them if one of them was in charge of Lillian's POV chapters and one was in charge of Blue's. I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
because it does work really really well, and like their writing style works really well together.
That's good.
But
You kind of have to do it with its dual POV though if you're going to write it in different voices,
yeah,
or it's not going to make any sense.
exactly. They wanted to play with the audience's expectations of why we're seeing the moment that's from the pilot,
Yeah.
because we saw the pilot, and then this plays into flashbacks that's directly following something we saw in season one. And I mean, part of it was they wanted to have an excuse to have Giancarlo Esposito back for a little while, but like they wanted to like really like show that like this is something that always happened. This was an event
Mm-hmm.
that happened in these flashbacks back then, but we just never got to see it. And this was, let me find this in my notes because it was funny. Apparently, Andrew's nickname in the writers' room started out as the Portal Police.
Okay.
You know how we feel about that, Mister. Portals are hard to come by unless the plot dictates otherwise. Uh,
Yeah. They keep popping up.
yeah, it apparently. But to be fair, this is one thing I say is like he made sure that their portals never broke any rules. While it's annoying that they constantly say portal jumping is hard and yet find ways to do it,
Mm-hmm.
their portals always make sense.
Yeah.
Like within the realm of what they set up, where like portals are you think where you're going to go and that's where you go. That's why you had the compass, because that was more of like a unwieldy it wasn't a portal made by like a bean or a hat or like something that was designed to be like a specific type of portal. That this was reanimating ashes of something that's magic's been used up.
Yeah.
That one, that the fact that they needed a compass for that, sure, that makes sense. That portals mostly only move in space, not in time.
Mm-hmm.
I say mostly. Like logistically, like they always work, but his nickname shifted apparently to DOT, which standed for the Department of Timeline and Transportation, because apparently they had a giant timeline on the wall in their writers' room. And this, okay, I'm gonna add on to this. So it laid out all their flashbacks in chronological order. So they did come up with an order for these things. But here's my thing. For as much as I gripe about this timeline and how it's confusing in hindsight, because eventually they had to kind of really just smush things in where there wasn't necessarily space for, because they kind of did run out of space. What I will say is they rarely ever contradict what they've already set up. The order of things doesn't always make a ton of sense, and sometimes things are in a very smushed timeline. This is why my order for the timeline I'm always really
Mm-hmm.
happy with. The amount of time things take is hard to figure out.
Yeah.
But I'm fairly certain I've got the order of events down, and like they rarely contradict themselves, even if it does feel like they kind of smush things where there wasn't space anymore.
Okay.
So I will say that about that. But we have confirmation. Someone did create a timeline.
You're just like, I need access to this timeline. Someone's got to have a picture somewhere. Give it to me.
Hi, anyone that's written for the TV show Once Upon a Time.
Please help Lauren.
Please. I've been trying to figure out this timeline for 4 years. Because I started the TikTok. It's 3 years in 2021.
Wow.
Yeah, that was when I made that account. Was
Look where it's brought you.
well, because I was starting grad school. That wasn't enough commitment. Let's also like create some kind of social media presence while we're at it.
Yeah.
Why not? This was something that I really liked about, and this is separate from the commentary notes. I'm jumping around now. With the scene with Spectral Ghost Belle, which
Yeah.
like I joke that it's like they needed an excuse to have her on on set because she's main cast. They have to give her episodes. Like she's legally required to be, because she's main cast. She is legally required to be in X amount of episodes per season. Having her there, it's as the spectral ghost, whatever you want to consider it. It makes sense, and we'll find out, because it's the mystery now of like, is he really hallucinating? Is Pan doing something? We'll find out. The moment where he attacks her and like goes to grab her, knowing that Bobby is such a consummate professional and like how careful he is when it comes to physical actions with like the actors that he works with, like he there's a lot of communication. I mean, I guess not throw caution to the wind, but he's very specific about like when he's beating people over the head with a cane. But like when it comes to especially knowing his relationship with Emily, it really shows through in like that throat grabbing scene of how there was no hesitation, which means they talked about it, they'd figured it out, and he just goes for it. And like that's kind of like knowing how he is as an actor is cool to see. Like, oh, there's like, you can see the relationship between the actors in how fluidly that moment goes.
Yeah.
So cool. I always find that. Yeah, because like it's and that's like the thing of like, you see that now because we we watch the show far, far too closely.
I don't know about too closely.
Well, I read it too closely. The thing about Excalibur and Camelot is in the Enchanted Forest. It's the same realm. It just wasn't affected by the curse because not every kingdom was affected by the curse. We figured this out already. And like Excalibur will come back. Like the real Excalibur will come back because they've name dropped Merlin. We have Excalibur. Yeah. We have the joke of everyone knows it's in Camelot, and we'll see this. That's the season 5A arc. Is the first half of season 5 is Camelot and why we may need Merlin and what may happen with Excalibur and all these other things. And like, I'm not
Arthurian.
docking it. It's Arthurian myths are, they make sense, especially like we're looking at folklore as well as fairy tales. Because I mean, I would consider like Renaissance stories. I would consider that this kind of similar to fairy tales.
When you look at like Arthurian, that definitely goes even further back than I think. Okay, are you contagious? My brain thought gone.
Mid-sentence.
What the fuck? I don't know. I really enjoy Arthurian, and it goes back so far. It's. I feel like it's even deeper than a classic at this point.
Oh yeah,
because of just how old it is.
It's a legend.
Yeah, it's a legend. It's folklore. It's all the lovely things, and I'm really excited to see what they do with it, and hope that they don't butcher it too much. I say butcher because I'm one of those people. I like retellings. I like things being done differently. There's just some things you don't do.
I like their take on Arthur and Merlin and that story.
Okay,
my issues with that arc have everything to do with the rest of the cast.
Ooh, okay.
So, like, the issues I have with the Arthurian arc has to do with our main cast of characters, not with the guest stars. Not like the people, but like the characters.
I love that through season 1 and season 2, you the whole time you're like, I can't wait for you to get to season 3, and now we get to season 3, and it's like season 5.
No, what I'm really excited for is season 4. Season 4, I've decided is now. What I've just decided is that's my favorite season at this point. Like, I used to say it was season 2 because it's like the structurally strongest and it has the most Korra, which is 2 very different reasons. But season 5 has a lot of really interesting things to talk about.
Okay.
Season 4 is just fun, in my opinion, because season 4, the first half is Frozen, the latter half is the Queens of Darkness. Which
of Darkness?
Cruella, Ursula, and Maleficent.
I'm too gay for this.
Oh, we all are.
Okay.
Trust me,
I'm already like, oh, great, here we go.
That's not just a...
It's not just
a you thing. We're all too gay for the polyamorous triad that is the 3 of them. They're not actually together, but they fucking should be.
I have a feeling you had fan fiction about that.
Not of the 3 of them.
Oh.
I have a lot of Sea Devil. That's just Cruella and Ursula.
Checks out.
They spend more time together than the 3 of them. But, and also that was one where the 2 actors, Victoria and Marin, like they latched onto that real quick. We're like, okay, like the same vein of like Lana and Bex. Like they lay into like the fandom because it's fun and they're good friends. But like, so I'm not docking this Excalibur back to Excalibur. Not that we went on that tangent. I'm not docking any I wouldn't dock any plot continuity points because it's not really, what's the word I'm looking for? I wrote it down.
Chaos notes.
Oh, my docking was something. Oh, it's not really. This was a different thing I was talking about. It's not really inconsistent, I would say, with what they set up in season 5 about Excalibur, because in theory, the people who know the truth about Excalibur at this point know the truth about Excalibur. And
Okay.
it's a case of they didn't know they were getting in season 5. So like, I think because at the end this is all fake.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, the Sword and the Stone in this episode is all fake. So it's not a continuity error for the actual one to be in Camelot and all that other stuff. The thing that I wrote down in my notes, if I'm not going to dock any points for this, was the inconsistency of the locator spells, because sometimes it's a
Mm.
potion, sometimes it's the stupid eye drop thing, and sometimes Regina can just wave her hand over an object and it shows you the way. Like, I'm not docking any inconsistency points for that, because much like I think I've said before with True Blood, they let the different directors have their own take on how the glamoring of that show worked. And
Okay.
like some of them had like a different idea of like, the gaze or the whatever, however it was going to work. So like this is the kind of thing I'm okay with, like the directors, writers having their own take on this locator spell, because it is a spell that could in theory have multiple forms. I think that
Okay.
does work pretty well um, for this. Um, so as we said before, a lot of this episode is about the struggle of is discovering, or a lot of this episode is about the struggle of accepting who you truly are, even though it may hurt those around you,
Mm-hmm.
um, which is a painful moment. But this is what kind of how they kept tying the two arcs together, because Snow's arc is about accepting who she is and that being a ruler and someone who could take down Regina, and Emma's arc is about accepting that she still doesn't feel like she has her parents back.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and originally, the scene with Regina, not with Regina, the scene with Emma and Mary Margaret when she says this, that was originally written as a scene between her and Hook,
Interesting.
which because I think they were trying to begin Captain Swan, and I think they do pretty well with that towards the end with the moment with the is Rum your answer to everything kind of moment. But especially because this episode is two sides of the same story, or like two people going through the same kind of arc, being Snow accepting herself and Emma as well, that makes that moment so much more poignant if they do it like that.
Mm-hmm.
Because they said in the commentary, one of the reasons it worked so well was because they watched the flashback of Snow learning to accept who you really are. And it's more emotional to have her help Emma through this. It's the two story. That's how you show that the two stories are talking to each other, and Emma has something painful to say to her mother, but she still has the pain from when she was left. Like, doesn't mean that she's not happy that she has her parents back, but that pain doesn't go away immediately,
Yeah.
and it
You just have to
makes her it
process
makes
that trauma.
yeah, she still has to process all that and really accept them as her parents. And like, they had the best intentions, they left her with the best of intentions, to give her best chance and to give everyone their best chance, but that doesn't mean that it hurts any less. And
Yeah,
that's
being
important.
abandoned for, so many years and then
Yeah,
being told, "Oh, we're your parents, we're here, we're back for you." And it's like, I'm in my 20s.
yeah, because like,
That's decades of trauma.
what was Emma's line from? It's from the premiere of 201. Like,
Oh,
what is that line? She goes like, here's the thing. It's like, for 28 years, I only knew one thing. My parents sent me away. He's like, we did that to give you your best chance. She's like, you did it for everyone, because that's who you are, heroes and leaders and princes and princesses, and that's great and amazing and wonderful. But that doesn't change the fact that for my entire life, I've been alone. Like, it doesn't go away overnight. It doesn't go away in 6 months.
it doesn't go away.
It doesn't go away. It doesn't go away just because they're out to save Henry. It's gonna be there forever, basically.
It doesn't matter how
And
much healing you do, it's going to be there forever.
exactly. So and that's something that she has to confront, and something that they all have to work through. Because but it's important that she says that in a moment, and Mary Margaret's immediate response is, "You were an orphan, and now it's my job to change that." She has to do better. I think this is her learning. She has to do better.
Yeah. It's
So,
like, even though she is Emma's mother, it doesn't give her the
mm-hmm,
right to say, like, be mom. She has to
mm-hmm,
actually be a mother to be mom, which then
exactly.
takes me all the way back to Regina and Emma. So that's a whole thing. So there's a difference between just giving birth and actually being a mother.
Yeah. I did love, though, the moment, the little header before the fight scene, with the two of them talking.
Mm-hmm.
We see a lot throughout this episode of Emma, like the two of them are usually at odds, and it for the remainder of this arc, it'll work that Regina's willing to do the dark things when Emma isn't. Regina's okay to break the rules when Emma wants to follow the rules. The header was a little longer. Originally, they were going to talk about Emma kind of embracing her magic and Regina being willing to teach her. But ultimately, and this is what works, I guess, with this writer's room, is that was going to be more of a thing in the next episode and kind of going forth in this season. So we don't have to have that in right now. It was cut for time, but also it was cut for time because it was going to continue to get touched upon throughout the rest of the season. So they still have the time to do it, which I think is a good way to structure your show, in my opinion.
Very much so.
All right, I have 2 things that close us out, and this episode's already long. So let's do stats, and then I'll finish those.
So very simple. I gave this 8s across the board. It is a 24. I enjoyed it.
Okay.
I'm still dealing with the whole, what the fuck is Rumpel doing? Why is Pan so scary? He's a child. It's when you're 30 years old, you're like, why is the child scary? He's
a 300-year-old child.
Okay, but still, just slap him around a little bit. I'm not saying slap children. Let me wait a minute.
No, we're not condoning that. To be fair, again, Pan the character is 300 years old. Robbie Kay, the actor, at that time was 17.
That's fair, but the 300-year-old child needs to be put in his place. Apparently,
he needs to be put in timeout.
He needs to be put in timeout. And I'll sit back and wait and see. It's only been 2 episodes, so I'm not going to be told why he's so evil. It's not like Cora's just evil. I'm sure Cora's got a reason, but that was easier to accept.
Cora's just a literal heartless bitch, but we love her anyway.
When you're introduced with, okay, you have the evil queen, this is her mother, your brain kind of goes, okay, yeah, that makes sense that she's evil. Mm-hmm. When you're introduced with, oh, we're doing evil Peter Pan, you're like, that's a child. Mm-hmm. Why is he evil? What's going on? You have to wait a little while.
Yeah,
I have to wait for the explanation.
They're not going to drop all that all at once.
Yeah, it's bugging me. Just tell me already. Yeah. So at least I can know why I don't like them.
No, yeah, this is the thing I say a lot about these arcs, these half-season arcs, is a lot of them I think would benefit from more episodes. Is the fault of it is they're cramming a lot of they're cramming, I would say, an entire season's worth of story into 11 episodes, and it's
the beginning of the end. Because we complain about that.
We do complain about that.
That they're cramming everything into too short amount of episodes.
But this is the thing, is so they're I'm gonna stop saying cramming. They're compressing these storylines. These specific, but to be fair, our main cast of characters, Emma, Regina, Snow, the arcs that they go throughout the season do take the entire season to go through. That's not being stifled as opposed to these mini series that are 8-10 episodes, where that is stuck in 10 episodes. You do have 22 episodes of character growth for them, just not for anybody else. Mm-hmm. So,
it really does feel like the beginning of the end, though. Watching this, it's very interesting.
The show did end the show did end in 2018. However, the final 2 seasons did not have this 11 episode half break.
Okay.
So season 6 and 7 do go back to the roots of you taking the entirety of the season to tell a story, or at least using most of the season to tell a story.
Okay. I prefer that. I do, but I watch
gives you more time to care about
the regular.
It gives you more time to care about the characters, is what
it really does.
It's ironic we're talking about this. Our appointment viewing episode came out today.
It is funny. I mean, we're going back and watching Walking Dead, which I know you've never been into. But the first season's 6, 9, very short. And then the second season also, it's in the teens, but they're almost an hour long. They're long episodes. Yeah. Only looking into it, there's 11 seasons, and the rest of the seasons are super long. They're I think the last 2 seasons are 22 and 24 episodes, but all the others are in the teens. But they're hour-long episodes, which is still a lot when you're looking at it. When you've still got into the teens, up to 15, 16 episodes, hour-long, that's a lot of content. But we don't even get that anymore.
No.
Just go listen to the special about it.
Yeah, you listen to our special about appointment viewing special. Did you know there's too much Star Wars? I did not give this as high a score as you did. I will add on, my score did go up because of the commentary, because I got so much about their writing process and about how their writer's room works, at least how it works for the two of them, which I thought was really interesting. It didn't go up a whole lot. It went up a whopping one personal point, but that it counts as going up.
It's something.
It counts. It got a 5 for plot. There's not a whole lot of plot in this episode. Like, the whole episode, this was Once Upon a Time in the Journey of the Enchanted Map. I'm sorry. That's what this is.
Where's the map? Where's the map?
It's the Once Upon a Time Enchanted hiking trip. That's what this is.
Dora.
Dora the Explorer. So there's not a whole lot of plot in this episode, because like this was more of the infighting until they realized, oh, now we can have a plan to save Henry. Not a whole lot of plot. But let's get a 10 for character. We're all over the place here. Because
grumpy Regina.
It's a grumpy Regina, but this one's a lot of character growth, and this was something that Emma's issue with her parents is something that needed to be said, in order for everyone to kind of move forward. And then it got a 4 for personal, because I just don't care for the episode. I just don't. So this gets a 19.
You lied to me. When I went to watch this, you were like, "I kind of like this episode."
No. When I said I kind of like the next episode, does that make you feel any better? I meant that about 303.
Oh, damn it, Lauren.
I did not lie to you.
That wasn't clear. That was not clear.
I said the next episode, not this one.
I thought you meant the one I was about to watch. Next episode. I was about to watch it.
No. But to be fair, I had already watched it. I meant 303. But to be fair, I still had no end of thoughts on this episode, whether I liked it or not. The writers brought this up, and I thought it was very poignant. The way they did it was they threw in a mini arc in the Enchanted Forest flashbacks of David and the dwarves, and how like their relationship was not always so gung-ho, and the entire time, Grumpy is calling Charming a gold digger. And like, it's a very smart way to kind of put a few more stories in, like in a kind of already slightly stuffed season. Like, they got to throw in these things because there never would be a flashback that's just about David winning over the dwarves. That is not important enough, but it's really interesting that they threw that in there. But I did love at the very end. It's funny. I did love at the very end, though, when Grumpy comes over to him and he is in the shot glass. David's shot glass is twice as big as everybody else's. Like, all of them have like the regular shot glasses, and he's got like a double, which I just thought was hilarious.
It's like me around all my friends.
Yeah.
One day we'll get a picture of the two of us standing next to each other, and people will understand.
They will. Like we said before, a lot of stuff is shot on green stages and sound stages. Apparently the production team, we were saying before, with how much they put together, basically the prep time they have from when they get the script to when the episode starts shooting is 8 days. They have about 8 days of prep, and then the episode films for 8 days. Wow. So like, that's all they have to like build sets, and they can sometimes give them a heads up, but for the most part, it's just kind of like they get the script and it's 8 days to get the sets together and do everything. And I think that's phenomenal. But this is one of my favorite fun facts ever about cinematography. So, I've been calling them the Avengers this entire time.
Yes.
It's amazing. The pan around moment in the
that's straight from the first Avengers movie,
where Regina clenches her fist. Yeah, it's straight from the Avengers. Apparently, they wrote in the script, "We pan around our heroes Avengers-Style." That's in the script, but they didn't actually intend for that to be the shot. They figured so he gets an idea of what we're looking for, and then the director literally did an Avengers pan.
I absolutely love that. Also, to the point that it goes along with our special that just came out today as we record this, of me bitching about the amount of Marvel. I know it says Star Wars in the title. We kind of go into both, but I go a little crazy about Marvel.
You go more into Marvel than I get more into Star Wars.
Well, we're about to get more Marvel, and I'm just like, I'm gonna watch it because it's Deadpool. But where are we going?
Yeah. But I love my little Avengers Assemble moment, and I felt very validated that they literally wrote that in the script.
I love that so much. You're just like in the heads of these people from many years ago.
Apparently, we think alike.
Maybe you need to be writing TV.
Maybe. Well, one thing I wrote down that I didn't say, but it was funny, is when they were talking about like how you have to have people, like when there's like 6 people in a scene, like they need to make sure that there's like a reason for people to be in that scene. Like they have, even if they don't have a line, like they have their own POV. And Andrew's like, he's like, in a scene where there's like 5, 6. I'm bad at math. There's a reason why I'm a writer.
Oh wait,
Me too.
Yeah, same. I don't do math.
Me too. Me too, buddy. I don't do math. The computer does the math for me.
Okay, I was about to say, you and your stats. Wait a minute. What are you talking about? The
The
computer
computer
does
does the
it.
math for me.
That's valid. Thank you all for listening. Join us next time when we discuss Bob's Burgers Season 5, Episode 17, Itty Bitty Ditty Committee, and Episode 18, Eat, Spray, Linda. Don't forget to like, rate, and follow the podcast wherever you listen so you can be notified every time we publish a new episode. Follow us at OBDYK_pod on Instagram and TikTok. And if you'd like to join our book club, you can find the link with more details in our show notes.
This has been an episode of Okay, But Did You Know? A TV and media podcast. It was hosted by Lauren and Katie and edited by Lauren.